When I first spotted the notes, I dismissed them as a harmless mistake. The crumpled paper, yellowed with age, rested quietly between two history books on my desk shelf. Volumes I had acquired at an estate sale just a few weeks earlier. Curiously, I picked it up, wondering if the previous owner had tucked away some sort of secret message. My life is generally straightforward. I work as an archivist at the local historical society, a serene space filled with dusty artifacts and fragile documents. I'm surrounded by rows of filing cabinets and stacks of papers. Each day flows into the next, accompanied by the gentle rustle of old pages. The silence is punctuated only by the soft hum of computers and the steady ticking of the clock. The note was brief and somewhat shaky, the ink faded, but still readable. "They are watching." I shrugged it off as the ramblings of a conspiracy theorist and tossed it back onto the shelf, returning to my tasks of cataloging bits of local history and answering occasional questions from visitors. As time went on, a subtle unease began to seep in. Some of the artifacts were a bit unsettling, like an old collection of family portraits that seemed to gaze a little too intently. I convinced myself they were just paintings, mere remnants of the past. Yet, every time I turned around, the atmosphere felt heavier, as if the memories were pressing down on me. I occasionally heard whispers in the stacks, but each time I'd check, it turned out to be the pipes rattling or the wind slipping through the cracks of the aging building. One day, just after noon, while I sorted through a box of old letters, I stumbled upon another note. This one was hidden between the pages of a newspaper dating back to 1922. It simply read, "They see everything." Once again, the shaky handwriting offered no explanations, and again, I brushed it off as the echoes of past anxieties. As 2 weeks passed, I noticed the tension in the air had thickened. I often felt as though someone, or something, was watching me. In the stillness of the archive, this thought was especially unsettling. I would look up from my work, half expecting to catch a glimpse of an observer, only to find my own reflection gazing back at me in the shiny surface of a picture frame. One afternoon, Jenna, a fellow archivist, stopped by my desk. She enjoyed sharing tidbits about how history had a way of repeating itself. "You know," she said, "some believe that places hold the memories of those who have passed through. Sometimes you can really feel that weight, can't you?" I nodded, dismissing her profound words lightly. They seemed wise, but I had my work to focus on. A shiver slipped down my spine as I waved her away, trying to shrug off the sensation. Days turned into weeks, yet the notes persisted, scrawls found between old maps, hidden within journals, always delivering the same message. They are watching, and they see everything. I tried to hide them away in a drawer, but they always managed to reappear on my desk as if they were alive, stubborn weeds refusing to be pulled. But Jenna's words echoed in my mind. The weight of memories. Something stirred within me, urging me to dig deeper and uncover the histories behind those unsettling notes. I found myself reaching out to the artifacts, hoping for some form of understanding, seeking clues about what was unfolding around me. One evening, driven by a gnawing curiosity that disrupted my usual routine, I stayed late at work. The flickering overhead light added to the eerie atmosphere as I sifted through documents, searching for insights that felt just out of reach. I uncovered more unsettling paradoxes, stories of families torn apart by suspicion, mired in paranoia from decades past. I felt foolish for sensing a connection to my growing obsession. Then, I noticed a small, half-open cabinet I had rarely considered. Drawn by instinct, I approached it with uncertainty. Inside, I discovered a trove of old photographs, funeral portraits, memorial cards, images of people, with the same worried expressions I'd seen in the paintings. In one photo, a woman stood alone, her gaze striking as she stared straight into the camera. It felt as if her hollow eyes followed me, and a chill washed over me. I quickly closed the cabinet door and turned back to my desk, pausing as my breath caught in my throat. I realized too late that I was standing before a large portrait of a town founder, his frown seeming to scrutinize me. "Just a picture," I murmured to myself, attempting to shake off the weight pressing on my chest. Yet I knew deep down that I had ignored the feeling for too long. Curiosity beckoned me forward, whispering questions that demanded answers. What if the secrets hidden within the archives held the key to understanding my own fate? Days later, I uncovered the last note, hidden in a forgotten binder. It read, "They will come for you." My heart raced, instinctively reverting to a deeply rooted fear. This time, I didn't merely dismiss it. I locked the note away in the drawer, vowing to leave soon. But the artifacts of the past seemed to tighten their grip on me, compelling me to return day after day. The sensation of being watched became increasingly unbearable. I became hyper-aware of my surroundings, glancing around at the shadows pooling in the corners. The silence felt heavy, almost sinister. I felt an urge to escape, bubbling beneath my skin, yet I'd grown too attached to the comforting routine of cataloging history. One evening, as I heard the soft rustle of manuscript pages in the back of the room, memories clamoring to resurface, I pushed aside my dread and wandered through the winding stacks. "Hello, Jenna?" I called out, but only silence answered, followed by the distant creak of wood. As I turned a corner, my heart raced. I scanned the shelves until I reached the end of the aisle. A loose piece of paper fluttered across the floor, landing near my feet. As I bent down to pick it up, a familiar hollow feeling returned. It was just an old article, mundane, detailing the town's growth. But something about it felt wrong, heavier than it appeared. I looked up, a sudden sense of being observed washing over me. The portrait of the founder loomed behind me, and I shivered as the oppressive atmosphere stifled my breath. With a sickening twist, I turned toward the dark doorway and caught a glimpse of a figure standing just outside. It resembled a silhouette, yet the outline felt eerily familiar, a disconnect between recognition and the unknown. Paralyzed, I was unable to scream. The realization creeping in that I had unwittingly become part of something that transcended my routine. I stumbled back, the old warning of "they see everything" echoing in my mind. Turning toward the exit, desperation took hold, and I ran, ignoring the shadows that loomed behind me, urging me not to look back. As I left the past behind, I carried with me the heavy gaze of the founder, a constant reminder of what I had unearthed amid the pages. In the end, I had disrupted my routine, and I knew I would never again be the same after that night. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share it with someone who enjoys quiet horror.